In a quiet village surrounded by green fields and towering trees, there lived a boy named Arjun. He was very sharp-minded and intelligent. His teachers praised him, his friends admired him, and his parents were proud of him. But Arjun had one weakness. He did not value time. Instead of studying, he spent hours playing games on his phone, chatting aimlessly with his friends, and postponing important tasks. His parents often advised him, saying, "Arjun, time is precious. Use it wisely." But he would always shrug and say, "I have plenty of time. I'll do everything later. For now, let me enjoy life." Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Arjun continued to lead his life, assuming there would always be a tomorrow. But one day, reality struck. It was the day of the annual exam results. Students gathered around the notice board, eager to see their scores. Arjun, confident as ever, walked towards the board. But as his eyes scanned the list, his heart sank. His name was far below where he had expected. His grades were poor, far worse than he had ever imagined. His friends, who once had always been merry in his presence, now whispered with disappointment. His teachers, who once extolled him, now pitied him. He trudged home with heavy steps, imagining the look of disappointment that would be etched on his parents' faces. And indeed, when he entered his home, he saw them holding his report card. Their smiles were gone and instead filled with sadness. "Arjun," his father sighed, "you have wasted so much time. Look where it has brought you." That night, unable to sleep, Arjun decided to seek advice. He went to his grandfather, one of the wisest elders in the village. Sitting beside him, he poured his heart out. "Grandpa," he said, "I don't understand why I failed. I know I am intelligent. What went wrong?" His grandfather listened patiently and then smiled. "Son, the problem is not your intelligence. The problem is that you have taken time for granted. Time, my dear, is the most valuable treasure. If used wisely, it will lead you to success. If wasted, it will pull you down." Arjun was confused. "But Grandpa, time is always there, right? I can always use it later." His grandfather's smile disappeared as he pointed towards the river flowing nearby. "Look at that river, Arjun. Do you see how the water flows? It never stops. It never returns. Time is the same. Once gone, it never comes back. Let me tell you a story that will help you understand." Arjun inched forward to listen. There was a very powerful king, Vikram. He had all the things, a great palace, thousands of servants, and enormous wealth, but he was a bad guy. He spent his time foolishly. Instead of waking early, he would sleep till noon. Instead of attending court, he would sit with his friends for hours, laughing and enjoying. Every work he would postpone by saying, "I will do it tomorrow." One day, a wise sage came to his court. The sage said, "Your Majesty, you have everything, but you are wasting your most precious treasure, time. If you do not use it wisely, one day you will regret it deeply." The king laughed. "I have plenty of time. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want." The sage sighed. "Do not take time lightly. It can ruin even the greatest of kings." But Vikram dismissed his words. Years passed. The king aged. His body weakened. His once mighty kingdom crumbled. His soldiers lost battles. His people lost faith in him. Then he realized he had wasted his years on meaningless things. He searched for the sage, hoping for guidance, but the sage was nowhere to be found. Regret filled his heart, but it was too late. His time had slipped away. Arjun sat deep in thought, absorbing every word. For the first time, he realized how much time he had wasted. Looking at his grandfather, he asked, "Grandpa, can I still change my life? Can I still use my time wisely?" His grandfather smiled and pat on his shoulder. "Of course, son. The wheel of time never stops. If you start today, nothing can stop you from achieving success. But never postpone what you can do today." That night, Arjun promised himself that he would not waste another second. He made a schedule for every task and woke up early to study with full concentration and avoid distractions. He managed his time wisely, balancing studies and healthy activities. Gradually, his hard work bore fruit. In the next exam, he topped his class. His teachers praised him once again. His friends, who had distanced themselves, returned, inspired by his change. Eventually, Arjun grew up to become a successful businessman, inspiring many with his disciplined lifestyle. One day, standing by the river, he smiled, remembering his grandfather's words. He had finally understood. The true key to success lies in using time wisely.